Pragmatism is a philosophical movement that includes those who claim that an ideology or proposition is true if it works satisfactorily, that the meaning of a proposition is to be found in the practical consequences of accepting it, and that unpractical ideas are to be rejected. Pragmatism originated in the United States during the latter quarter of the 19th century, although it has significantly influenced non-philosophers, notably in the fields of law, education, politics, sociology, psychology, and literary criticism. The term pragmatism was first used in print to designate a philosophical outlook about a century ago when William James pressed the word into service during an 1898 address entitled Philosophical Conceptions and Practical Results, delivered at the University of California. James scrupulously swore, however, that the term had been coined almost 3 decades earlier by his compatriot and friend C.S. Peirce. Peirce, eager to distinguish his doctrine from the views promulgated by James, later relabeled his own position pragmatism, a name, he said, ugly enough to be safe from kidnappers. The third figure in the classical pragmatist pantheon is John Dewey, whose wide-ranging writings and considerable impact on American intellectual life for a half-century. After Dewey, however, pragmatism lost much of its momentum.
John Dewey's philosophy influenced the field of education because he felt that in the new industrial society, children were not realizing the basic foundational skills that had led to the development of their current society. Schools should provide children with that foundation so that they could in turn make meaningful contributions to and play important roles in society. They would be able to use their minds as a powerful tool to help both themselves and the society in which they live. From Dewey's viewpoint, traditional education set up the child to play a passive, receptive role in the educational process. The schoolrooms and curriculum that were being utilized during this time were that of a one-size-fits-all mentality. However, children are unique and full of imagination. Their minds are active and naturally inquisitive. So today, classrooms contain a lot more engagement and hands-on activities for students. William James' philosophy influenced the field of education because his principal aim of education in a democracy is to prepare students to become responsible citizens of high moral character who help to counter-adverse the influences of popular culture, corporate practices, and powerful media on society. An important role of colleges and universities in educating young people is to guide students to create, pursue, and test worthy ideals for themselves while helping to provide them with the best means to achieve these goals, which is what we can see at Purdue University, where we are all given the opportunity to pursue our career through gaining a higher level education. In the classroom, we would use pragmatism to allow students to share their own experiences, inquiry, intelligence, experiments, and consequences they have encountered in regard to the topic we are discussing. We want our students to use their power of inquiry to determine consequences and working answers to problematic situations that they share amongst each other. In our classrooms, we really want students to learn from experience, so we would provide many opportunities for students to learn outside of the typical classroom textbooks. For example, if we were teaching our students about World War II, we would allow students to conduct research about this topic in an area that they are interested in learning more about. This may include the machines and weapons that were used, the technology, medicine, jobs, etc. Then we would invite a guest speaker to come talk to our students and share his experience, which would allow the students to connect with him and their experiences in the world. We may also find an opportunity to take a classroom field trip where we could see actual artifacts from World War II. As teachers implementing this philosophy of pragmatism, we need to make sure that we understand our students' interests and experiences. We also need to make sure that we take our time to cover the standards and topics we are teaching our class in order to allow our students to experiment using inquiry and discover consequences.